What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So, welcome to another week of the podcast. So, if you have not already, please go back and tune in to previous weeks. So, we're almost at 500 episodes. So, Monday, Tuesday, our topics. Wednesday's discussion. Thursday, Ask CSP or throwback. This week will be a throwback to something else from way back when. So, I think last week was season 1, episode 155 with James Carroll. So, definitely go back and check that out if you have not already. And then Friday's everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article actually comes from TechCrunch.com, and it's written by, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm sorry. Lorenzo Franceschi Bicchiari. Okay. So this one is titled Hacker Leaks Millions More 23andMe User Records on Cybercrime Forum. So I never told you this, Ryan, but when you sent me this one, I was like, yeah, I know that game. So I got the email from 23andMe because I've done
I
it
got you.
before. Yeah, I got the email, and it was like a week and a half ago. It was like the 10th, 11th, 12th, something like that. It was like the middle of the week, but I did see it, and I was like, okay, well, let me see what they're talking about in here. And they actually do mention, they talk about how they don't think it was an infiltration, and what they mentioned in the article here is they think it's password stuffing. So it's just passwords that were already compromised and are already known out there with different emails, right? Because like a lot of people are going to use the same email. You're not creating a different email for everything that you sign up for, right? You usually have an email you may do something professional with, and then you got your junk email, so to speak, or at least I do, right? So it's one of those things where that's how they say that this hacker, right, who goes by the name Gollum, he published this new data set of information from 23andMe, right? So they did the password. He or she did the whole password stuffing thing, right? So they're saying it's records for 4 million users, right? So is what they're doing in there, or what they have, and they're putting it on the cybercrime forum breach forums, which that's a pretty on the nose name, right? Like, okay, is where we're gonna put it? Breach forums. Like, okay. For all that you do, you figure you'd be a little bit more inventive, but I guess not, right? Come up with something a little more clever. But 23andMe spokesperson Andy Kill said in an email statement that the company was made aware of the new leak today, right? So, like I said, this was like 10 days ago that I got, at least 10 days ago now, that I got the email. But October 6th is when they announced that the hackers had obtained some user data, right? So, again, people, this is one of those things where when it comes to password, if you keep using the same password over and over and over again, this is likely to happen, right? As we get more and more into the world of today, we have more and more things where it's going to require an email to sign up and then a password, right? But something you could do to prevent all this, right? MFA, right? Multi-factor authentication, right? So, and this is one of the things that they suggested was for people to implement multi-factor authentication, not using the same passwords over and over again. Even when they sent the email, they were like, hey, go to the site, change your password, just to verify. But this is what happens nowadays, right? You start using the same stuff over and over. And I get it, right? Like, it could be one of those things where just in your life, you have so many passwords and pins and things like that. You're like, you're not creating a different email for every one of these, right? So it's the same email. So once that's compromised one time, that's pretty much out there, right? Then it's like, okay, well, let's try this again. Password stuffing is what they did. They just tried, the same already compromised passwords, and boom, here it is. You know what I mean? Like, people start getting lucky. You know what I mean? These hackers start getting lucky. So just be vigilant out there, folks. Use a password wallet. You know what I mean? That'll create a password for you if you're just not that inventive. Or if you can't think of good what do they call them? Like, they tell you to try to use a
Passphrase.
passphrase. There you
Yeah.
go. Thank you. Yeah. When you're creating your passwords, you know what I mean? Don't do common things, your password 1 2 3 4, things of that nature. Like, people are still doing it out there though, right? So I mean, they're just like, I don't care, whatever it is, right? But for this is 23andMe, right? So it's got some stuff in it it's very specific, about people's health and whatnot. And so something else they mentioned in this article is they're bragging. Gollum is bragging about having information on the wealthiest people living in the U.S. and Western Europe on the list, right? So it may not be something that you're like, I don't care that much about it, but it may be something a little embarrassing, right? Like if you all of a sudden find out, Jeff Bezos has something crazy. I don't know. You know what I mean? It could be used to blackmail them, right? Extortion, something along those lines. But you never know. I mean, that could be what happens. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So interesting that you went that route because that's pretty much where I was going to go with it. So if you have not already, to the audience, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share with your friends. But yeah, I would think the bad part out of this is not necessarily where your lineage comes from, because I've never done the 23andMe. I've always kind of thought about it, but I know their pool is mostly European descent, right? So you'll get to find out that side of your family. Um, I've always been interested in AfricanAncestry.com is a similar website, but it deals specifically with what tribe or region you came from, as opposed to like what the Western colonization divided those lines. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I saw the price tag, and I was like, not cool enough. Very pricey, but again, it's because it's more specific to African heritage, right? So their pool will be more of the tribes of Africa and what have you. So maybe one day, but um, to come full circle, it's blackmail for those illegitimate children. That's what that is. Like that, that's the route I would go, right? So if you're trying to hide something, like you've opened up a pathway, but potentially connect you with someone you didn't want to connect with. So when you say the world's wealthiest people, you have to also think the people with the most to hide. So I would not be surprised if something's correlated in the future. And on top of it, like that's not to say that I'm pro criminal, but remember that guy got there was a guy who threw away a napkin at a sports game. Once you throw something away, it becomes I forget, it's no longer your property once you throw something in the trash.
Public domain, right? Like
Something
it's
like that, something weird, right? And the FBI collected the sample because they needed a sample from him, and they correlated him to a crime, and he was arrested for it. But it's because he had like records in the database is what it boiled down to. It wasn't this that he made a mistake and threw away a napkin, but he also had his DNA out there that was easily collectible. Not to mention that it's also a foreign entity, so a lot of these companies who collect this data and then do the sequencing and all the other good stuff are usually Chinese or something like that out of U.S. territory. So there's a lot to unpack there. Like I won't go down the rabbit hole because I'm also interested in doing it one day myself. But again, you have to be very careful with who you give your DNA to. So there's that as well. I'm impressed that you got the notice so quickly. Like uh, typically these things take months.
No, it was a good. So, like in the article, they referenced that it happened on the 6th. I want to say, like I said, my email was the 10th, 11th, 12th, something
Yeah, it's
somewhere in
pretty
that time
fast.
frame.
Yeah,
Yeah. So they came out quick with it. But we talk about this, right? Like public trust, right? Like if they would have waited months and then I got the email, I'd be like, wait a minute, we already talked about this,
right.
back in October. You know what I mean? So yeah, good
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, yeah, good for them. Unfortunately, they did get breached. And then if you are a billionaire, you're trying to hide another family, you might have made a mistake. Your time is a coming, unfortunately. But no, it's just interesting. It's the future, right? So there's another layer to potential blackmail, extortion, things of that nature due to people's DNA being out there. Not, and I don't know how much health information comes from 23andMe because again I've never done one, but I wouldn't be surprised if they can also correlate some factors to your health that you might not want out there as well, right? So it's just another layer of PII potentially that could be leveraged against you. So interesting stuff. Like so we'll see what comes of it because I guess this is like the second issue they've had, right? They had the initial breach, you got the letter. This is additional to the initial breach. So we'll see what the future holds. But please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please hit a bell for bells associated or wherever platform you're choosing to view us from. Please hit us up at all the websites that go by our name, and you can hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, and Threads. Stay safe, stay excuse me, stay safe, stay secure. Bye.